Welcome, dear listener. You've found your way once again to the quiet corners of the sleepless historian, a world where fire was new. Language was only just being born, and sleep was a sacred mystery. These people, with no words for sleep, no clocks to tell time, begin to prepare themselves in subtle, ritualistic ways. One man smears ochre along his arms, perhaps believing the color carries a spirit of protection. Another places dried herbs, wild mint, or crushed pine needles at the edges of his bedding, scenting the air with something sharp yet calming. These customs are not born of science, but of instinct. Your breath, like theirs, slows with the dark. Your limbs grow heavy. And somewhere, deep within, the ancient part of you remembers how to rest. Let the hush of firelight surround you. Let the breath of the forest flow through your lungs. Let your eyes drift slowly closed like theirs did so many ages ago. A need to feel soothed, to feel safe. The group has learned, over generations, that certain habits ease the body into rest. Like a gift passed down from your oldest ancestors, wrapped in the smoke of their fires and the hush of their songs. They gather close around the fire, sharing warmth and presence. Some rock slowly back and forth. Some lie on their sides, curling into the earth. They do not speak. Language is still forming, but their movements are soft and synchronized, like a quiet agreement written in gestures. Even the act of lying down is ritualized. Certain stones are placed around the sleeping area to mark space. Certain twigs are avoided because of the sounds they make underfoot. One person crouches beside a ring of stones and carefully feeds dry twigs into a small fire. No cities, no lights, just a ceiling of ancient constellations. The fire crackles gently. Insects chirp from the shadows. Not a specific hour or command, but a natural, instinctive series of actions that told the body it is time to let go. Time to retreat from the sharpness of day and fall softly into dreams. The rituals were not written, but they were passed on through mimicry, through repetition, through the slow dance of habit. And though they might seem primitive to us now, they carry the roots of something timeless. The very first yawn in history. The first blanket of leaves, the first hush of firelight against tired eyes. All of it whispers forward across time to us. Sleep, that old and faithful friend, begins to arrive not all at once, but in waves. A sigh here, a long, slow blink, their eyelids growing heavy, breaths deepening. These early humans do not know the science of REM cycles or circadian rhythms, but they know how to surrender to the night. They have learned perhaps from observation, perhaps from the animals around them, that the day has an end, and that the night must be welcomed, not resisted. It is not something to fear, but to flow into. The flame catches, slowly flickering to life, casting long shadows that dance across the clearing. The warmth and light are not just practical, they are comforting. They signal safety, the boundary between danger and rest. Nearby, a mother gathers soft grasses, arranging them in a hollow dip in the earth to create a resting place for her child. She hums a low, repetitive sound, perhaps a lullaby without melody. Her breath is slow, steady, almost like the wind weaving through trees. We are deep in the Paleolithic era, perhaps 30,000 years ago. Somewhere in the vast, open wilderness where early humans lived as nomads. The landscape stretches wide stone and sky, grassland and forest, quiet rivers winding like silk through the land. The air is fresh, but cool now, as the sun begins to sink low on the horizon, painting the sky in shades of amber and ash. In a clearing surrounded by tall trees and ancient rocks, a small group begins to settle for the night. These are some of our earliest ancestors, wrapped in furs, their hair thick with smoke and earth, their faces marked with soot or paint, their eyes quietly watching the fading light. Where we don't rush through the ages, but instead wander softly through the quieter, forgotten folds of human history. There is no need to stay fully awake just. Let the gentle rhythm of old stories lull you into rest. You are safe here, wrapped in the soft glow of a lantern's light, while the outside world grows dimmer with each word. Tonight, we begin a long and peaceful journey, not through the rise and fall of empires or the clamor of battles, but through something far older, far softer, and just as human. The rituals of sleep. As long as we have existed, we have dreamt. And before every dream, there came a moment of preparation, a ritual, a breath, a habit, a hush. This is the story of those moments, the story of ancient sleep rituals from around the world. Let us begin at the beginning, in the first cradle of human rest. Picture, if you will, a time long before written words, before the tick of clocks or the comforts of civilization. As the day ends, something remarkable happens. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply human. Though they do not name these acts, they are performing sleep rituals. Overhead, the stars begin to glow in the vast black sky. This, perhaps, was the first true bedtime. And so, as you lie here now, listening to this story, you are not so far from them. Sleep is coming. You don't need to chase it. Just receive it. Gently, quietly. Like a gift passed down from your oldest ancestors, wrapped in the smoke of their fires and the hush of their songs. Let the hush of the fire still warm your thoughts. Let the distant stars of our Paleolithic ancestors gently fade behind you, like embers dissolving into ash. We are moving now, ever so slowly, down the quiet river of time. People would travel from far villages to lie here, often after fasting or meditating for days. They believed that in their sleep, a god, perhaps Imhotep, the divine healer, or Serapis, the god of dreams, might appear in a vision to offer guidance, healing, or prophecy. They left small figurines beside their beds, protective household gods carved in clay or wood to keep watch while they slept. They painted stars on the ceilings of tombs so that the dead would dream forever beneath a sky that never faded. You do not need to understand the dream, only to receive it. The wind is cool, but not cold, brushing through the leaves with a sound like whispered poetry. Inside the home, the floors are smooth tatami mats, woven tightly from rice straw, carrying the faint, earthy scent of the harvest. A green tea, perhaps earthy and warmore, something floral and faintly bitter. The cup is cradled in two hands, not because it is hot, but because it deserves respect. Drinking it slowly, one surrenders the last of the day's energy, allowing sleep to draw closer. In some homes, incense might be lit, a thread of sandalwood smoke rising slowly into the beams above, mingling with the scent of tatami and night air. Let your breathing match the rustling of unseen leaves. Let the soft hush of night wrap around you like an old futon. There is no rush, no task remaining. There is only this moment and the peace that lives in it. You are safe, you are still. And far away, in the folds of history, others have also closed their eyes. Just like this, it is not burned for spectacle, but as an invitation for peace to enter. The air smells of wood smoke, steamed rice, and something clean, something natural. Not a grand bed, but a simple futon rolled out each night, then folded away come morning. The night was not something to be conquered with light or activity, was something to be welcomed. Even the placement of one's head in sleep was considered. Some believed one should avoid facing north, as that was the traditional orientation for the dead. Others placed small charms near their bedding, known as omamori, for protection symbols wrapped in silk, containing tiny prayers from temples far away. In this world, sleep was neither careless nor heavy, was a deliberate pause, a moment held gently between dusk and dawn. The futon rests directly on the mat floor, where the earth's cool breath can reach you. There is a subtle connection here. They were held lightly, like a haiku drifting on morning mist. In poems from the Heian period, sleep and dreams appear often not as mysteries to be solved, but as quiet companions. A lover's whisper, a falling petal, a sense that something gentle has passed by. To sleep in ancient Japan was not only to rest, but to become part of the night itself, to disappear into the silence with reverence, between body and home and nature. The pillow, often filled with buckwheat husks or tiny beads, adjusts quietly to the shape of the head, like the soil accepting the weight of a seed. The quilt is light but warm, often layered, often stitched by hand. Climbing beneath it feels less like entering sleep and more like entering a private temple of dreams. Candles are dimmed early here, and the rooms, lit only by paper lanterns or the silvery light of the moon, feel like dreams even before the night has begun. The priests are silent now. The incense fades. The temple sleeps. And so, dear one, should you? It means the space between things, the silence between notes, the pause between words, the stillness that makes motion meaningful. Ancient Japanese homes embraced Ma fully. Before sleep, everything is softened. Voices grow quiet, movements slow. One might take a warm bath ofiro not for cleanliness alone, but for calming the spirit. The water is deep and hot, and it wraps around you like a cocoon. Steam curls softly upward as you sink in, your muscles releasing the weight of the day. The bath is a ritual of cleansing, not just the body, but the thoughts. Let us drift again, gently and slowly, down the soft current of time. The sands of Egypt grow quiet behind us, the incense fading into memory like a dream half remembered. And now, as we journey eastward, beyond mountains and mists, over cool seas and under the quiet stars, we find ourselves stepping softly into another world. A world wrapped in silence, simplicity, and ritual. You are now in ancient Japan, where the night arrives, not with fanfare, but with a hush. Here, the darkness is not feared, nor filled with restless activity. It is embraced like an old friend, a soft breath of stillness at the end of a long day. And in their lullabies, passed down by mothers to children, they whispered of Ra sailing across the underworld, guarding the world through the night, only to rise again with the morning sun. It was believed that the body, when deeply rested and purified, could open like a sacred door. You too lie in darkness, hoping for peace. You too listen to your dreams for something wise, something soft. The Egyptians believed the night was not empty, was alive with messages, symbols, and sacred presence. And if you close your eyes gently enough, you might just hear what they once did. And from that door, the divine could step in. These were not casual beliefs. Dream records were kept. Interpretations were studied. Sleep, in this world, was not a private matter. It was part of one's relationship with the cosmos. And as we drift forward, through centuries that rise and fall like gentle tides, we find ourselves surrounded by desert wind and golden sun. Imagine the feeling. Your body wrapped in soft linen, your skin still scented from the sacred oils. A low wind rustles the papyrus leaves outside. A priest has whispered a blessing above your brow. And now, the silence deepens. You close your eyes, the stone cools your spine. Your breath falls into rhythm. And the dreams begin, not wild or chaotic, but layered, symbolic, soaked in meaning. Perhaps you see a falcon flying over water, or a serpent curling through reeds, or a doorway wide open, glowing with light. You do not wake with fear. You wake with reverence. You bow your head, you leave the temple changed. We have arrived in a land where dreams were not only cherished, they were sacred. You are now in ancient Egypt, timeless, sun-drenched, and slow-moving. This is not the Egypt of kings and conquests, but one of quiet rituals and sacred sleep. It's a world where slumber was a bridge to the divine, and dreams were messages from gods. Here, sleep was never seen as ordinary. It was not just a pause in the day, nor a retreat into darkness. It was a temple in itself, holy act. Imagine a wide, sun-baked courtyard, lined with tall columns and stone walls carved with soft, faded hieroglyphs. The scent of crushed lotus flowers floats gently through the air, sweet and calming, carried by the Nile's breath. You step softly through the temple's shadowed halls. This place is quiet. Deeply so. No market noise, no footsteps running. Just a stillness that feels like it's waiting for something. This is a Sarapuma Sleep Temple, a house of healing dreams. And those who come here do not come simply to rest their bodies. They come to receive visions, to be healed in the stillness of the night. Priests in linen robes, their heads shaved smooth, tend to the sleeping chambers like quiet caretakers of the soul. They burn resin's frankincense, myrrh. Cedar wooden chant softly in tones, so low and slow they feel like a vibration more than a sound. Visitors to the temple are bathed in scented waters and given calming tonics infusions made from poppy seeds, blue lotus, and sacred herbs known only to the priesthood. They are led to cool stone rooms where silence presses against the walls like velvet. Some rooms are dark, completely sealed from the sun, while others are open to the sky, allowing starlight to bathe the sleeping figure. Each space is designed not for comfort in the modern sense, but for spiritual stillness. The stone beneath your body may be hard, but the mind floats untethered. The air is thick with mystery. This practice is called incubation. To sleep within the temple's embrace is to invite divine communication. And so they lay down, not just to rest, but to listen. Even the common people of ancient Egypt believed that sleep was a doorway to another plane. So, as you rest now in your own quiet space, far from the Nile, far from the stone temples and incense halls, know that you share something ancient. Let your thoughts drift like lotus petals on water. Let the soft scent of history carry you to sleep. Imagine it now. A wooden house nestled near a grove of tall cedar trees, their trunks rising like silent sentinels into the dusk. In this peaceful setting, bedtime is not rushed. It is approached with care, with intention. There is a term in Japanese, ma. Afterward, there is often tea, a single cup prepared with gentle focus. Not hurried, not gulped. And then comes the bedding. Sleep in ancient Japan was deeply intertwined with respect for nature, rhythm, and balance. And perhaps most beautifully, dreams were not shouted or explained. So now, as you lie in your own space, whether on a mattress or a floor, beneath heavy covers or something light, know that stillness is enough. Let your breathing match the rustling of unseen leaves. Let the soft hush of night wrap around you like an old futon. There is no rush, no task remaining. There is only this moment and the peace that lives in it. You are safe. You are still. And far away, in the folds of history, others have also closed their eyes, just like this. Let your breath slow. Let the thoughts of your day fall away like petals carried by the evening wind. Someone nearby may still be singing a lullaby salulu. They called it soft and rhythmic, passed from mother to child for generations. And in the summer months, when the nights are warm and heavy, many choose to sleep outside on their flat rooftops under the open stars. Picture it now, a quiet rooftop high above the city's heartbeat, with soft linen fluttering in the breeze, and a sky so vast it feels like a sea above you. And tonight, the path leads us far back, so far that even memory seems to whisper and fade. We are journeying now to the cradle of civilization itself, the land between rivers, where the Tigris and Euphrates once cradled the first great cities. This is ancient Mesopotamia. Feel the warmth of the sand beneath you, the weight of the sky above. There is no noise here, no rush, just the soft wind and the flicker of starlight, and the promise that night is a safe and ancient companion. Let the weight of the world melt from your shoulders. With each passing second, allow your thoughts to grow quieter, lighter, softer, as you lie still, wrapped in your own quiet cocoon. Let us drift again through the curtain of time gently, calmly to a place of silence, of stone, of slow footsteps and whispered prayers. A place where sleep came not from exhaustion, but as a sacred ritual. The walls hold echoes, not of noise, but of repetition, centuries of monks breathing these same prayers, walking these same stone corridors, laying their heads down in the same silence. In this place, sleep is not a break from life. It is part of devotion, a surrender of control, a soft offering of trust. Tonight, we journey to the ancient monasteries of medieval Europe. That their dreams were not loud or wild, but serene images of gardens, flowing rivers, or open skies. Their waking hours were full of labor and discipline, but the night belonged to stillness. Sleep was not a task. It was a return, a letting go, and drift now, slowly, into your own quiet rest. Each monk walks back to his cell, the narrow halls lit only by moonlight filtering through narrow, arched windows. Their footsteps are muffled on worn stone floors. No one speaks. It is a sacred silence. The body is ready. The soul is ready. The world has slowed to a perfect, gentle hush, where monks ended each day, not with noise or worry, but with candlelight, silence, and a deep reverence for rest. Only the silence of stone halls and the echo of ancient prayers still humming faintly in the air. You are not in a hurry. You are not alone. You are part of a rhythm older than memory. A rhythm of breath and night and soft surrender. Some may place their hands across their chest, a quiet gesture of surrender. Others may whisper a final prayer, not for requests, but for peace. There are no pillows, only straw or folded cloth. No clocks, no ticking, no interruptions. Only the soft creak of wood, the hush of wind outside the narrow window, and the deep, warm stillness of sacred space. You are part of that same story now carried across time, like a song whispered from tent to tent. We are high in the hills, far from any town or city. Let the candlelight of the monastery flicker in your mind. Let its warmth wrap around you. The air smells of old books and warm stone, of lavender grown in the monastery garden and the wax from a dozen burning candles. It is quiet here, safe here. Time moves like honey slow, golden, sweet. Each monk has a small private cell bare, but not cold. It is not hurried. It is not dramatic, 'tis soft. Held in the candlelit chapel, the monks chant in low, even tones, their voices blending like a breeze through tall grass. Latin phrases learned by heart spill gently into the night. In manus tuas, Domini, commendo, spiritum meum. Into your hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit. Over and over, soft and slow, until the heart grows quiet and the mind releases its grip on the day. A wooden cot, a woolen blanket, perhaps a small carved cross by the door. There are no decorations, no noise, no clutter. Only peace, only purpose. The landscape is cool and still rolling green fields wrapped in soft mist. Forests rustling in the night wind and distant hills sleeping under a sky of silver stars. In the center of this quiet is a stone monastery, ancient and simple. Its walls are thick, weathered by rain and wind, built to last for centuries. The only light within comes from flickering candles and glowing hearths. Everything here moves slowly, intentionally, gently. Let the quiet settle around you. Let it hold you like a blanket of woven silence. The night has deepened, and so too has your breath. Imagine this scene with me now, and let it unfold slowly in your mind. Inside the monastery, the day ends early. The monks rise with the sun and sleep when the stars are high. There are no beds in the modern sense. Before retiring, the monks follow an ancient rhythm called Compline final prayer of the day. The candles sway gently with the air. Their scent is of beeswax and old stone, of warmth and earth and time. Once the final bell has rung, the monastery slips into stillness. In their cells, they remove their simple robes and wrap themselves in thick woolen blankets. It is said that many monks dreamed of angels or light. And now, as you lie here listening, you too can borrow that stillness. There is nothing to do now, no voices calling, no duties pressing. So close your eyes, if they are not already closed. Let the hush of the monastery hold you. Let the gentle shadows lull you. And drift now, slowly, into your own quiet rest. Settle in, now. Let your muscles soften like silk in warm water. Let the air in your room feel cooler, quieter, gentler. It sits atop carved legs and is surrounded by soft screens or silk drapes that fall like mist around it. The wealthy might enjoy a bath warm water infused with chrysanthemum or green tea, poured into ceramic basins lit by lantern light. The scent drifted upward, slow and steady, filling the room not with smoke, but with intention. Fragrance, they believed, could steady the mind and lift the spirit. In rural homes, elders told stories by lamplight, parables, fables. Tales of fox spirits and rain gods, soft and winding stories that soothed the hearts of children and elders alike. It was believed that the soul wandered during sleep, and so the home had to be calm, clean, and welcoming, so that the soul would want to return when dawn came. Your own feather bed, your own moment of balance. Let us once again step softly into the past, to another corner of the world where sleep was not only a necessity. The air is warm and full of quiet, life-chirping insects. Rustling palms, the far-off calls of night birds hidden deep in the canopy. These hammocks were more than places to rest. They were believed to be sacred, protective. The oldest might tell stories, myths of the hero twins, tales of the sun's journey through the underworld, or of jaguars that guarded the spirit realms. The youngest children, already wrapped in thin cloths, would listen with eyes wide, hammocks slowly swaying beneath them. The sleeper would lie diagonally, never straight, to stretch the hammock wide and let it cradle the body without tipping. Once inside, wrapped in a thin cotton sheet or with nothing at all in the warm season, the person would sway gently with the movement of air. You are swaying slightly, held in perfect balance between sky and earth. There is nothing to chase, nowhere to be. Just you, the silence, and the soft motion of night. Let that rhythm lull you. Let your breath rise and fall, like the sway of ancient hammocks on long-forgotten nights. You are floating now, not in space, but in time, carried by memory, cradled by history. Rest, like the Maya, in the arms of the night. Not unlike a leaf hanging from a branch or a boat floating on a moonlit lake. The words of the storyteller were soft and unhurried as the night pulled its curtain slowly across the world. The motion lulled the body into calmness. The warmth of the night pressed lightly against the skin. Outside, the jungle whispered in 1,000 tongues: frogs, crickets, owls, the distant rumble of a jaguar. But inside, all was peace. The hammock swayed, the fire glowed faintly, and sleep unfolded like a flower in the dark. Some believed that sleeping suspended in the air brought the soul closer to the spirit world. That the dreams you caught in a hammock were different, lighter, more vivid, closer to the gods. And when dawn came, it was not with alarms or sudden light, but with the slow lifting of mist, the chorus of birds, and the feeling of your hammock still moving gently beneath you. As if even in waking, it didn't want to let go. Suspended in the air, they offered safety from biting insects and creeping creatures. They were maps to the spirit world, signposts from ancestors, or signs from the gods. And so sleep was treated with care. Before resting, they might burn copal, a sacred tree resin whose sweet, thick smoke would curl around the room like a protective spirit. It was said to purify the air, to soothe the heart, and to invite good dreams. The hammocks themselves were sometimes tied with protective knots or charmed with small amulets to ward off evil spirits during the night journey, and gave the body a kind of weightless sleep, one that mimicked the womb, that felt both ancient and timeless. Stone temples stand tall in the distance, catching the last silver-blue light of the moon. But here, in the heart of a small Mayan home built of clay and palm thatch, everything is still. The fire has burned down low, its soft red glow painting gentle shadows on the earthen floor. There are no beds, no heavy furniture. Only woven mats, cooking pots, and hung from strong wooden beams, delicate-looking yet incredibly strong, hammocks hand-woven from agave fibers or cotton thread. But a ritual of balance, protection, and connection with the natural world. Tonight, we sway gently toward the warm, humid nights of ancient Mesoamerica, to the sacred lands of the Maya, where sleep came not in beds of straw or feather, but high above the earth, cradled in woven hammocks that rocked with the rhythm of the stars. The moon is still watching, just as it did centuries ago, and in the hush of now, you are not alone. You are part of a long, slow tradition of rest, of dreams, of deep and gentle sleep. Some also believed it could carry dreams, guiding them gently along peaceful pathways through the night. The poor, too, would wash their feet before bed, simple but sacred act. Believed to restore energy, sleeping with the head pointing north. Aligned with the Earth's magnetic flow, was thought to bring better rest and more stable dreams. Pillows often made from bamboo, ceramic, or wood were used not only to support the head, but to cool the mind and balance the body's energy. Some were hollow, filled with herbs like lotus or mung beans, releasing a faint, calming scent as the sleeper rested. You can let your breath grow slow and smooth, like calligraphy on silk. You can let your thoughts move like koi in still water. Let your worries fall, like plum petals, quietly to the ground. The idea was never to block discomfort entirely, but to guide it, to transform it, to blend it into rest, and calm the body's meridians, the channels of life force that flow unseen beneath the skin. In traditional Chinese medicine, the feet were the end of the body's rivers. The night air outside rustled through bamboo leaves. The moonlight glowed on rooftops and glimmered on lakes. And in thousands of quiet homes from the forbidden city to countryside cottages, bodies lay curled in stillness. Minds floating in dream, wrapped in feather beds and soft silence. And to clean them, to warm them, was to send peace upward like mist rising from a still pond. Inside, thick feather-stuffed mattresses provide a softness that surprises you, firm enough for posture, soft enough for comfort. Sheets made from fine cotton or silk are layered in a way that reflects the balance of yin and yang cool textures beneath warm coverings. Light colors beside darker tones, softness beside structure. Nothing here is random. It all exists in balance. Tonight, we slip quietly into a new chapter of the world's long, slow story. This time, we journey far east. To the graceful gardens, lacquered screens, and porcelain-colored moonlight of imperial China, time when sleep was not merely a pause in the day, but a refinement. A practiced ritual steeped in beauty, balance, and ancient wisdom. Imagine it slowly. A courtyard home with curved rooftops shaped like clouds, frozen in mid-drift. Everything is quiet. The air carries the scent of jasmine and bamboo, perhaps with a faint sweetness of plum blossoms if it is spring. Stone lanterns glow softly in the garden paths, and a koi pond reflects the round white moon. Behind one of the wooden doors, shaded by silk curtains and carved panels, lies a chamber prepared for sleep. It is not grand in size, but every detail has been considered. From the grain of the polished floorboards to the low wooden platform on which the bed rests. The bed itself is like a private world. Before sleep, rituals of calming would unfold slowly and mindfully. In wealthier homes, incense would be litrier woods like sandalwood or a loose wood, burning in tiny coils or elegant censers carved from jade or bronze. Even the position in which one slept was chosen with care. As sleep approached, some would recite lines of poetry, perhaps a verse by Li Bai or Du Fu. Ancient poets who wrote about moonlight falling on quilts or dreams that drifted across mountain ranges. And when sleep finally arrived, it was welcomed not as an escape but as a blessing, a chance to rest and realign. A visit from the spirit world. Now, as you lie in your own space, perhaps not with carved wooden beds or herbal pillows, but with your own kind of softness, you, too, can borrow a little of that peace. The night does not rush you. It only invites you. Let your sleep tonight be a ritual. As your body settles deeper into rest and your thoughts begin to drift like leaves on a quiet river, close your eyes now and imagine it slowly. The sun has long since set over the thick emerald jungles. The Maya didn't sleep on the ground. They slept above it, lifted from the cool earth, gently swinging in the breath of the night air. Before sleep, families would gather in the warm heart of their home, under a thatched roof open to the stars and sky. The Maya believed in dreams not just as idle images, but as messages. When it was time to rest, the hammocks were entered with slow, practiced movements. And there, in that soft, swaying cocoon, they would begin to drift. Now, as you lie here, safe and still, imagine yourself in one of those hammocks. The air is warm. The jungle breathes. You are swaying slightly, held in perfect balance between sky and earth. There is nothing to chase, nowhere to be. Just you, the silence, and the soft motion of night. Let that rhythm lull you. Let your breath rise and fall like the sway of ancient hammocks on long-forgotten nights. You are floating now, not in space, but in time, carried by memory, cradled by history. Rest, like the Maya, in the arms of the night. A soft wind snakes through the empty dunes, hissing like the breath of the desert itself. Overhead, the sky opens like a deep blue sea, scattered with stars so bright they cast faint shadows. There is no noise, only the rustle of canvas, the creak of ropes, and the whisper of sand shifting in the distance. Before resting, stories are told beneath lantern light, voices low, each tale passed down from fathers and mothers, wrapped in the scent of spice and the hush of sand. The tea glasses are emptied and rinsed. Long, hand-woven blankets are unrolled, thick and rough to the touch, but warm against the desert's chill. They did not fear the silence. They embraced it. And in this silence, they believed the soul could breathe freely, unchained by walls or noise. Each family member knows their space. There are no beds, no frames, only the ground, softened by rugs and cloaked in warmth. Their ears, even in slumber, remained attuned to the distant call of a camel. The children snuggled close to their mothers. The elders wrapped themselves tightly in wool and the soft breath of a sleeping land. And imagine yourself high among the ancient Alps, where the wind whispers across meadows and the mountains hold centuries of stories in their snowy silence. Who walked narrow trails by day and rested by firelight at night, tucked deep in timber cabins or tucked into stone huts nestled against the hillside? Bells would chime softly from the sheep's necks, like lullabies drifting through the cold evening air. Smoke would rise from small chimneys, curling upward toward the stars like ancient prayers. A dream of snowfall could mean a hard winter. A dream of wolves could mean danger. And the occasional soft bleat of a sheep nestled against the stone walls outside. The shepherds, wrapped tightly in wool, would fall asleep with their boots near the hearth, and their tools crooks, pouches, and bells lined up neatly nearby. It was a sleep born of hard work and clean air, of simplicity and trust. The mountain watched over them, ancient and unmoving. And a dreamless sleep was sometimes seen as the greatest blessing of Allah, sign that the mind and body were truly at peace. That gentle scent of firewood, sheep, and wildflowers crushed beneath your boots. You are lying on a bed of hay and wool, the covers heavy and comforting. Sleep as they did, knowing the world outside will wait and the fire will keep burning till morning. A fire glows faintly at your feet, casting dancing shadows on the wooden beams above. Outside, the stars watch silently, ancient and constant. Inside, the shepherds' huts glowed with the faint flicker of firelight. Their thick wooden walls carved with simple signs of faith, protection, and good harvests. The night is long but gentle. Their lives followed the rhythm of the animals, the weather, and the slow march of seasons. Before sleep, the shepherds would sip hot broth or milch coffee milk, warmed slowly with a bit of coffee or honey mint to soothe both the belly and the heart. Their hands, rough and tired, would rub warmth into their fingers before folding under their heads. Sometimes, lavender or edelweiss was tucked near the bedding not only for its fragrance, but to ward off illness and bring peaceful dreams. Sleep in this high and lonesome place was not simply rest, it was recovery, warmth, and preparation for the next day's climb. The stars here shine sharper, colder, and the night falls not with a hush, but with a soft, steady sighs. If the world itself were drawing its heavy quilt over the sleeping hills, the blanket over you is heavy and warm. The air smells of smoke and spice. You are safe. You are still. You are breathing in rhythm with the night. And above, the stars continue their ancient dance as they have for thousands of years. The shift of a rope, the quiet bark of a desert fox. But their bodies were at peace, their minds wrapped not only in dreams, but in generations of memory. The desert offered no softness, but it offered serenity, a kind of sleep that came not from comfort, but from being one with the world. They sleep close together, curled in comfort, under a sky so vast it could swallow every dream, and yet so tender it holds them all. There are no clocks, no ticking reminders of time, only the stars, the movement of wind, and the instinct to rest when the world darkens. Tonight, we walk softly beneath the canopy of endless stars, where the land stretches flat and quiet, and every grain of sand carries the memory of footsteps long faded. In the deep hush of the desert, far from cities and walls, the Bedouins, the noble nomads of the Arabian Peninsula, made their homes not in stone or wood, but in the fabric of the earth and sky. They were people of movement, of wind and rhythm, and their sleep was shaped by the simplicity and vastness of the world around them. The tent breathes with the air, rising and falling gently with the desert breeze. This was the home of a Bedouin family, temporary, movable, but deeply rooted in tradition. These tents were more than shelter. They were wombs of warmth in a world of wind and space. Let yourself drift into their world now. The air is cool after the long burning day. Cushions are stacked low along the sides, And in the center, a low fire glows in a small sand-ringed pit. The scent of cardamom and ash floats through the air. A kettle of sweet tea simmers quietly, and hands pass it around in silence. The liquid poured high and steady into small curved glasses, a lullaby in liquid form. In this quiet vastness sits a black goat hair tent, woven tightly against the wind. Its low roof curved like a hill, its center held firm by strong poles planted in the sand. Inside, the floor is lined with woven rugs, some soft with age, some newly made, all layered like memories. Sleep here does not arrive with silence, but with ritual soft, unhurried, and shared. And when the night settles fully, the fire is dimmed. The Bedouins believed that the desert was alive, that its winds carried messages, and that dreams, born in such a place, were sacred. The sleep was light, but full. And so, in the stillness of this tent, with the fire now only embers and the air sweet with wind, the family drifts into sleep. Let yourself lie here now, beside them. Feel the ground beneath you, firm but kind. Let the silence of the desert carry you. Let the dreams of the Bedouins guide you into the next world. No hurry, no fear, just you. Let your body grow heavy now, as if wrapped in thick woolen cloth. This is the land of the ancient Swiss shepherds, men and women who lived close to the clouds. As the sun dipped behind sharp peaks and painted the glaciers gold, the shepherds would gather their flocks and guide them to the safety of nighttime pens. The beds were little more than platforms made of rough-hewn logs, piled with hay, wool, and thick quilts that held the scent of sheep and alpine herbs. They believed in the power of dreams here not as divine visions, but as messages from the mountains. Silence came thick in the night. No carriages, no voices. Only the wind, moving gently across the shutters. Even now, if you close your eyes, you might feel it. That quiet, that chill. Breathe slowly. The air is cool, but you are warm. The mountains are vast, but you are held. Let yourself drift there among the peaks, among the shepherds, among the quiet wisdom of high places. Sleep as they did, knowing the world outside will wait and the fire will keep burning till morning. Let your breath slow now, in and out, as gently as a petal falling on still water. The night grows soft and quiet as we journey eastward, across green mountains and misty rice fields toward the wooden homes and paper lanterns of ancient Japan. A simple futon was unrolled each night and laid directly on the tatami, soft, yet firm enough to keep the body aligned and the breath flowing freely. Pillows were small and often filled with buckwheat husks or grains, cradling the head gently without sinking. Not just physical space, but pauses, silences, breath. But mostly, sleep was valued for its stillness. It was said that to sleep with a calm mind was better than dreaming of treasures. The light has faded, and the room is touched only by moonlight spilling through a paper window. A breeze moves gently across your skin, and somewhere in the night, a bamboo chime clicks softly in rhythm with the wind. Your breath moves slowly now, like a koi fish drifting beneath water lilies. There is nothing left to do, no voice calling, no task waiting. Only the soft fold of sleep pulling over your body like a silk cloth. Bedrolls and cushions were carried into the garden after sunset and placed near the shade of fig trees or beside pools that caught the reflection of the stars. Thin woven mats would be laid across smooth stone or packed earth. Over these embroidered sheets, dyed with saffron or indigo, might be spread. Pillows, hand-stuffed with soft cotton or feathers, were arranged just so never too high, always inviting the head to tilt gently, the neck to relax, and the cool trace of stone that has released its heat. Above you, the stars scatter across the velvet sky. A small fountain bubbles somewhere nearby. The night cradles unity in darkness, but in moonlight, in poetry, in peace. A light cotton cloth, called a lahaf, was drawn over the sleeper, meant not to warm, but to protect against the night breeze. Where the hush of moonlight drifted across stone courtyards, and paper lanterns glowed like fireflies in the dark. The evening air moved slowly through latticed windows, stirring the edge of a silk curtain. This may seem strange to our modern sense of comfort, but these pillows were not designed for softness. Some were decorated with symbols of long life, peaceful dreams, or the quiet watchfulness of cranes in flight. Some even had tiny compartments filled with aromatic herbs, such as chrysanthemum or dried lotus leaves, which would slowly release their scent through the night, purifying the air and calming the spirit. Before retiring, nobles would often take tea, perhaps infused with plum blossoms or ginseng before, changing into layered robes of soft cotton or thin silk. Hair was brushed slowly, the scent of sandalwood oil lingering in the air. And incense sticks were lit carrying curls of smoke, upward like dreams rising into the night. These pillows cradled the neck more than the head, keeping the body's posture aligned and the breath flowing deeply through the chest and abdomen. Let your thoughts rise and fall like silk on the wind. Within that soft shelter, time slowed, sounds faded. And as the body was laid down, breath by breath, the mind was invited into quiet reflection. In some traditions, sleepers even practiced dream cultivation, a meditative state meant to keep the mind clear and the spirit light while resting. It was said that to dream well was to live wisely. They were designed for health, for energy alignment, and for supporting the balance of one's Ketha, life force said to flow through the body like a quiet river. The air is cool and fragrant with sandalwood. A gentle breeze stirs the gauze curtains, and somewhere nearby, a wooden chime sings once in the dark. You are still, held by the wisdom of centuries, surrounded by harmony, cared for by silence. A low platform bed awaits in the corner, neatly arranged, lacquered, and crowned with something unexpected. A pillow, not of feather or down, but of porcelain or carved jade, or sometimes even wood. In this still and noble world, the imperial palaces and graceful homes of ancient China, the act of sleeping was touched with elegance, care, and a wisdom. Here, every detail had meaning, even the pillow beneath one's head. Here, under a sky dense with constellations and memory, Persians would drift into slumber to the sound of trickling water and the distant rustle of date palms. The heat of the day gave way to the whispering coolness of night, and sleep was no longer an escape, but a gift. And so, people arranged their evenings carefully, gently removing thoughts that were too loud, worries that clung too tightly, and emotions that stirred the still waters of the heart. And sleep, to them, was the ultimate expression of this principle, a pause between the day's duties and the next morning's return. A short poem recited from memory, often by Hafez or Rumi, whose words danced like lanterns in the darkness. Sometimes a simple prayer, whispered quietly beneath the breath, asking for peace, for good dreams, or for the safe return of someone far away. The elderly might share a story. Children would be lulled with gentle rhymes. And all of its each sound, each word would fade slowly into silence, as if the garden itself was tucking them into the folds of time. The home, often open to the sounds of nature, welcomed the chorus of crickets, the drip of water, the soft rustle of bamboo in the wind. Tonight, we journey to the heart of ancient Persia, where gardens bloomed in the middle of golden cities. These enclosed gardens, known as paradisa, were not just places to grow herbs or flowers, they were spaces of peace, reflection, and sleep. The very word paradise comes from this Persian idea of a walled garden, carefully tended, blooming with life. And within these fragrant walls, families would gather each evening to enjoy the cooling air, listen to the song of nightbirds, and slowly prepare for sleep. And sleep unfolded beneath the open sky, soft as a sigh, and as fragrant as the petals falling from a pomegranate tree. These were not disturbances, but lullabies, gentle reminders of the world continuing its ancient rhythm. Even the bedding followed principles of balanced cool cotton in summer, warm layers in winter, always tucked with care, and folded again at dawn. The act of making one's sleeping space was considered meaningful, a ritual of order before entering the gentle realm of dreams. In this world of balance and careful simplicity, even sleep was touched by beauty and order, offering not only rest to the body, but a kind of quiet cleansing for the spirit. The ofuro, a deep wooden tub, welcomed the day's aches and troubles, washing them away in silence. The water was hot but soothing, and it was taken not to clean the body, but to calm the soul. After the bath, loose robes were worn, usually linen or silk-hand. The mind was quieted further through quiet tea, light reading, or gazing into the garden outside, where moonflowers might bloom in silence. Here, in the gentle glow of an oil lamp, a narrow house waits its doors made of rice paper screens, its floors covered with smooth tatami mats woven from rush grass. The scent of cedar and camellia oil lingers in the air. The home is silent, but not empty. The silence here is sacred. It holds space for thought, for reflection, and for sleep to enter as quietly as the moonlight itself. The sleeping space, unlike the large raised beds of the West, was kept low and close to the ground. Before sleep, the evening unfolded slowly. Bath, heated by firewood, awaited at twilight. The Japanese valued the idea of mata, space between things. Dreams were treated with quiet reverence. Some believed they could bring messages from ancestors or offer small clues about one's place in the world. Now, imagine you are lying there on a soft futon spread out on cool tatami. You are part of this world, now quiet, balanced, breathing with it. The night is long and gentle and kind. Let your eyes close and float. Settle in now. Let your body melt into stillness and your thoughts drift like perfume in warm evening air. In Persia's old city Zekbatona, Susa, Persepolis homes were often built around private courtyards, where fountains danced quietly in marble basins, and jasmine climbed over clay walls. During the sweltering summers, sleep often moved outdoors. The sleeping arrangements were elegant in their simplicity. Before sleep, there was ritual. A glass of warm milk with honey or rosewater. Sleep was seen not as an interruption, but as a return. A return to rhythm. A return to softness. A return to oneself. And now, you are there too. You lie on a soft mat, the air rich with the scent of blooming orange blossoms. There is no hurry. No wait, only the gentle rise and fall of your breath, and the ancient quiet that fills the space between moments. So let yourself be still now. Let the hush of the garden hold you. Let the centuries of peaceful sleep surround you. Let yourself drift. Close your eyes gently and imagine a distant time. Let us step into a quiet chamber within a palace wall, where the walls are lacquered wood and the floor polished smooth by 1,000 footsteps. Yes, in the ancient Chinese tradition, pillows were often hard-crafted from beautiful materials and filled with symbolism. A porcelain pillow might be smooth and cool, shaped in the form of a flower, a reclining child, or a painted landscape. It was believed that sleeping on these carefully crafted objects helped preserve vitality, maintain the balance of internal organs, and even encourage clearer dreams. In the quiet of the imperial court, where servants moved like shadows and candles flickered in rows, sleep was treated with great respect. The bed itself was surrounded by a canopy of gauze, not just for beauty, but to protect the sleeper from insects, drafts, and excess light. Now, as you imagine lying back on a smooth porcelain pillow, feel how your neck stretches ever so gently, opening your breath. Let your mind empty, like a cup set gently aside. The night is calm. The bed is yours. Sleep is near. Close your eyes and imagine it now. Twilight sky slowly ripening above the emerald jungles of what we now call Guatemala, Belize, and southern Mexico. The last cries of jungle birds echo softly, and the warm air grows still as the world tilts toward night. Stone temples rise above the tree line like sleeping giants, their shadows lengthening across ceremonial plazas. The day's heat fades into a gentle hush, and the stars begin to blink open one. Then another until the sky becomes a velvet tapestry embroidered with light. To the Maya, the stars were not merely decoration. They were timekeepers, storytellers, gods. And as night fell, the great observatories, the stepped pyramids and stelae, carefully aligned with the heavens, became quiet stages where the ancient people attuned their lives to the rhythms of the cosmos. Sleep, in this world, was not separate from the sky. It was part of it. The twilight ritual began with a reverent watching of the sky. Families gathered outside their homes, often built from limestone and thatched with palm, their open walls letting the breeze in. As the sun dipped below the horizon, many would sit in peaceful silence, watching the first star rise. This star, often Venus, held deep significance, was the evening star. Believed to carry messages between worlds, guiding the soul from day into dreaming. Before sleep, small household altars were tended with care. Clay incense burners were lit with dried copal resin, its sweet, earthy smoke spiraling upward like a silent prayer. Children, wrapped in hand-woven blankets, were nestled near parents and grandparents, lulled by stories of the hero twins who journeyed through the underworld in mythic dreams. These stories were not just entertainment, they were lessons, maps of the spiritual realms that might be visited during the night. Sleep among the Maya was sacred. 'Twas understood as a temporary visit to Xibalba, the underworld, not a dark or evil place, but a hidden realm of challenge, learning, and transformation. Dreams were considered powerful, sometimes prophetic. Shamans and elders interpreted them, using them to guide decisions for the household or the community. To prepare for such journeys, the body had to be at peace. Light meals were taken early in the day, and the final hours before bed were kept quiet, free of argument or noise. Sleeping spaces were simple mats made from woven reeds or cloth, placed close to the earth. The body rested near the warmth of the cooking hearth, where embers might still glow through the night. Crickets sang in the distance. The jungle stirred, and above, the constellations continued their slow dance, mirrored in the painted ceilings of temples and the memories of skywatchers long past. Sometimes, in noble households, astronomer priests kept vigil through the night. From atop temple platforms, they tracked the movements of Jupiter, Mars, and the Moon, noting their positions in sacred calendars that governed planting, harvesting, and ritual. And yet, even these scholars, when they laid down their heads, centered the dreaming world with intention. They believed that the soul could travel through the stars, learning from ancestors and celestial beings while the body rested. Now, let yourself feel what they felt. A connection not just to sleep, but to something larger. You are lying beneath the same sky, under the same stars they once watched with awe. The air is warm and fragrant. The night pulses with quiet life, and your breath joins the rhythm of the ancient forest. Let go of today. Let your thoughts melt like twilight into darkness. The constellations turn above you. The ancestors whisper gently. You are part of a great, star-spun story. Imagine the desert at dusk. The air is cooling after a long, sun-soaked day. You hear the gentle trickle of the Nile in the distance, the soft chirp of evening insects, and the rustle of palm leaves swaying lazily above the rooftops of sun-dried clay homes. The day is ending, and the land of the living prepares to enter the quiet mirror of the night realm. The ancient Egyptians considered a temporary voyage into the world of the gods. In this land of myth and meaning, sleep was more than just slumber. It was a ritual, a return to the divine, and, in many ways, a rehearsal for the afterlife. Egyptians believed that when the body rested, the soul called the Ba left the physical form and wandered freely, visiting other souls, ancestors, and sacred realms. It was said that the soul would return with sunrise, settling gently back into the body with the warmth of morning light. Let us step softly now into an Egyptian home. The sun has dipped behind the horizon, casting golden shadows over the smooth, whitewashed walls. A low wooden bed raised slightly above the floor sits against the wall, shaped with graceful curves and woven linen supports. The mattress is firm, yet made soft with palm fibers and cotton-stuffed cushions. A headrest of carved ivory or polished wood supports the neck, not a pillow in the modern sense, but a sacred item believed to align the body with celestial harmony. The people of Egypt slept not in complete darkness, but often with a small oil lamp left flickering nearby. The flame danced quietly in its bronze or alabaster dish, casting shadows like ancient hieroglyphs across the walls. The scent of frankincense or myrrh sometimes lingered in the air for priests, and wealthy households would often burn these sacred resins before bed, believing they purified the space and invited divine dreams. Before sleep, many Egyptians recited protective hymns and spells, not out of fear, but out of reverence. These verses, written in papyri or etched onto amulets, called upon gods like Base, the squat, lion-faced protector of sleep and children, and Isis, the divine mother, to watch over the sleeper's soul. Dream interpretation was a sacred art, and certain temples were even devoted entirely to dream incubation, where one would sleep in the presence of a statue of the gods Serapis or Thoth, hoping for a healing vision. Even pharaohs treated sleep with care and ceremony. Their royal beds were ornately carved and aligned with cardinal directions, echoing the pyramids and the stars. In their chambers, silks from distant lands and richly dyed linens whispered of wealth and magic. But no matter how opulent the surroundings, all Egyptians shared the belief that each night was a journey, one in which the soul slipped through the veil of the living to touch the eternal. And now, imagine yourself lying in such a bed. The cool linen sheets brush softly against your skin. The air is dry and peaceful, carrying the gentle rhythm of the Nile's current and the hush of ancient winds through the reeds. A small flame flickers beside you. The world is still. The gods are near. And your soul is free to wander through the starlit sands. You are safe beneath the gaze of the heavens. You are wrapped in sacred stillness. As your breathing deepens, you join a lineage of dreamers stretching back thousands of years, each one touched by the same sky, lulled by the same river, kissed by the same golden air. Let go now. Let your body rest and your spirit drift. The desert sleeps. The gods are listening. Imagine it now. The day is ending across the boundless green plains of Mongolia. A golden sun dips low on the horizon, setting the wide open sky ablaze with streaks of amber and violet. The land is quiet, but alive. The tall grass rustles in the wind. Horses nicker softly in the distance, and the cries of eagles echo far and high. Here, beneath the endless sky, the ancient nomadic people begin to settle in for the night. The Mongolian steppe was, and still is, a world of movement and connection between people, animals, the earth, and the spirits that dwell in every corner of existence. In this culture, sleep was more than rest. It was a respectful surrender to the natural world, and a time when the soul opened its senses to the unseen. As evening falls, the Gera-round felt-covered tent, strong yet soft, glows gently from within. Its low wooden frame is sturdy against the wind, and its central fire, now burning low, gives off a faint warmth that fills the space with a sleepy calm. The air smells of wool and wood smoke, of dried herbs tucked near the hearth. The family within speaks in hushed tones. Shoes have been left at the door. The world becomes quiet. Inside the gear, space is sacred. The north side where guests are received and elders sleep is considered most honored. The fire at the center is never stepped over or disrespected, for it is the soul of the home. Sleeping arrangements follow tradition. Men sleep on one side, women on the other, and children curled between them, wrapped in thick layers of felt and sheepskin. Before bed, it is common for the family to offer thanks to the sky spirit, Tengri, or to the spirits of the mountains and rivers nearby. Offerings are simple milk splashed from a bowl toward the heavens, or a few crumbs of food laid near the door. The belief is that spirits move freely in the nighttime, and it is best to honor them gently, so they bring protection rather than mischief. Children are told bedtime tales, soft and slow, stories of brave ancestors, of horses that could fly through clouds, or of shamans who rode dreams like wings across the sky. These stories aren't just entertainment. They are memory, identity, and quiet wisdom passed down through generations. The voice of a grandmother or father telling the tale is like a lullaby in itself, carried softly into sleep. Dreams are deeply respected in Mongolian tradition. It is believed that certain dreams carry messages from ancestors or guidance from the spirit world. If a dream was strange or vivid, the elders might be asked to interpret its meaning. Some would even tie a small knot in a piece of cloth and place it under the pillow, a charm to bind bad dreams and keep them from wandering loose in the mind. As the fire turns to glowing embers and the stars press down like diamonds in the vast dark sky, the gear falls into deep quiet. Outside, the horses lie still. The grass whispers its secrets to the wind. And inside, a family rests, wrapped in wool and tradition, safe in the arms of the land and the sky. There is something timeless, here something slow, steady, and sacred. No locks, no alarms, just trust in the spirits of the land and in the warmth of the family. Sleep comes gently, like the night wind. It does not rush. It arrives, as it always has, when the soul is ready. And now, as your own body rests, imagine you are lying beneath that same sky, cradled by the steppe, rocked by the wind, and guarded by the stars. You are part of this great circle, this slow-turning world of dreams and memory. Let go now. Let your breathing grow soft. The wind carries you. The earth holds you. And the spirits watch quietly as you drift into sleep. The year is somewhere between the 1600s and the 1800s. Japan is in its Edo period, a time of peace, order, and quiet refinement. Outside, the city of Edo, which we now call Tokyo, is slowly settling for the night. You can hear the soft clack of wooden geta sandals on stone, the distant song of a bamboo flute, and the hushed swish of Norin curtains falling over shop doorways. Night is arriving gently, like an old friend. Now let us step into a small wooden home, tucked neatly between others on a narrow street. The sliding doors have been closed for the evening, and a faint glow from a candle flickers across the rice paper walls. The air is still, touched only by the scent of incense curling softly in the corner. The household is finishing its final ritual's quiet conversation. Perhaps a cup of tea or a slow brushing of long black hair. Shoes are removed, hands are washed, and the mind is prepared for rest. In the Edo period, sleep was a humble and respected part of life. There were no large beds or heavy mattresses. Instead, there was the futana, soft, foldable mat made of cotton and placed directly upon the tatami floor. When night came, the futon was carefully laid out, smoothed by hand, and covered with a thick, quilted blanket known as a cake futon. In colder months, small charcoal braziers hibachi were placed nearby, warming the room with a gentle, radiant heat. The air might still carry a trace of green tea or the delicate perfume of camellia oil. Sleep itself was not hurried. It was quiet and intentional. Most families rose with the sun and slept not long after it set. The darkness was a time for inward reflection. Some practiced zazen, the seated meditation of Zen monks, even before lying down. For them, sleep was part of a larger balance, like eating, walking, or bowing a flow of daily rhythm. Not separate from life, but woven deeply into it. Children were told stories passed down from the Heian-era tales of moon princesses, shape-shifting foxes, and gentle ghosts. These stories were spoken in hushed tones, their words chosen carefully, like silk threads placed on a loom. There was no rush to the end. The act of storytelling itself was a lullaby. The room dimmed, the voice softened, and dreams began before the tale even finished. In this world, dreams were not only private, they were respected. A dream of a white crane might be seen as lucky. A dream of someone long departed could be taken as a sign or a message. And so, each morning, while folding the futon and returning it neatly to its storage chest. Some might quietly reflect on what the night had shown them. There was beauty even in the silence between breaths. Beauty in the rustle of a kimono sleeve, the slow turning of a page in a book, or the distant sound of rain on the shoji screens. Sleep, in Edo, Japan, was not a thing to be chased. It was simply allowed, welcomed. It arrived naturally, like the moonlight slipping between bamboo leaves. And now, as you listen to this, imagine yourself there. You are lying on a soft futon, wrapped in warm cotton. The floor cooled beneath you. The room still and fragrant. A candle glows gently nearby. Perhaps a breeze brushes past the paper walls. Your eyes are growing heavier, and you are exactly where you need to be. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to think. The day is done, and sleep is the only task. Close your eyes, like closing the sliding doors of the night. Let the soft breath of history carry you into dreams. The land is vast, and so still. The sun has set behind the red hills, casting a soft, deep purple across the skies. The air is warm and dry, and the world glows with a fading heat that comes only after a long day in the Australian outback. A hush spreads across the earth, not empty, but full. Full of stories, of songs, of ancestors whose presence can be felt in the very dust beneath your feet. For thousands upon thousands of years, Aboriginal Australians have lived in harmony with this land, caring for it, walking its dreaming paths and passing knowledge from one voice to the next. And in this ancient rhythm of life, sleep held deep spiritual meaning. It was not simply rest, it was a return to the dream time, the sacred space beyond time itself, where the world was created and where spirits still move quietly through the night. The people did not always sleep in houses or shelters. Often, they slept outside beneath the sky, with nothing between them and the stars but perhaps a piece of bark or a thin layer of woven grass. But they did not fear the night. To them, the land was alive and full of meaning. Each tree, each rock, each star above had a story, a name, a purpose. And so, they slept in peace, held by the country they belonged to. Before sleep, there were rituals. Perhaps a song was sung low, rhythmic, and full of memory. Perhaps a tale was told around a fire, with glowing embers lighting up the faces of elders and children alike. The stories were not fairy tales in the way we might think of them. They were songlines, deeply sacred oral maps of the land, teaching where to find water, how to read the stars, and how the world was shaped by ancestral beings in the time before time. Children listened with wide, quiet eyes, curled up close to the warmth of their family. These were not just bedtime tales. They were truth, the very essence of the land, wrapped in gentle rhythm. A child might fall asleep to the sound of a didgeridoo, echoing softly through the cool night, or to the deep hum of insect song under the eucalyptus trees. Dreams in this culture were not idle wanderings of the mind. They were often seen as spiritual journeys, ways for the spirit to walk the dreaming paths, to speak with ancestors, or to receive teachings that would guide them in life. Dreams could carry warnings or messages. Some elders were gifted in interpreting them, listening quietly as a child or adult described their night visions the next morning, and offering soft guidance in return. There was a quiet respect for the act of sleep itself. People often slept in positions chosen carefully, not only for comfort, but in accordance with cultural laws. Certain directions or proximity to sacred sites might be avoided. The land had rules, and following them meant harmony, safety, and deep connection. As the fire burned low and the stars shone brighter above, the land seemed to breathe with the people resting upon it. The constellations were not just dots in the sky, they were ancestral beings. Animals, hunters, and spirits watching over the sleeping world. The great emu in the sky stretched across the Milky Way, and to those lying on the earth below, it was not a mystery, it was family. And now, imagine yourself there. The earth beneath you is warm and strong. The sky above is wide and endless, yet somehow comforting. You are wrapped in a blanket made of woven stories and soft winds. The land is quiet, but never empty. You are held in a space that has known slumber for 60,000 years or more. Close your eyes now, as the ancestors once did. Let the song of the earth carry you gently into dreams, where the stars are storytellers, and the wind hums lullabies, older than words. You are safe here. You are welcome here. And sleep is waiting, like a sacred river, slow and deep. The night begins early in the stone walls of a medieval monastery. The sun has long dipped below the hills, and the last rays of amber light fade from the stained glass windows. The halls are lit now only by flickering candlelight shadows dancing softly on rough stone walls. The scent of wax and old parchment in the air. All is still, all is hushed. In this world, the clock does not rule time, prayer does. And sleep, like everything else in the monastery, follows the sacred rhythm of devotion. In the medieval cloisters of Europe, monks and nuns lived by the rule of Saint Benedicta, detailed guide that dictated every part of daily life, including sleep. The night was not for deep, uninterrupted rest. It was a time to rest the body, yes, but also to stay spiritually alert. The monastic day was divided into hours of prayer, known as the divine office. And even the darkest hours of the night were broken by sacred obligation. Monks would lie down in simple cellstone rooms with barely more than a straw mattress and a wooden cross above the doorway. These were not places of comfort, but of humility. Blankets were rough, beds were narrow, and pillows were often avoided altogether. The idea was not to indulge the body, but to tame it so the soul could rise. They would sleep in tunics, ready to rise at any moment. And they would not sleep for long. Around midnight or earlier, a bell would toll, echoing through the stone corridors, calling the brothers from their slumber. They would rise silently, forming lines in the candlelit darkness, and make their way to the chapel for matins, the night prayer. No talking, only the sound of sandals on cold flagstones. Only the whisper of robes brushing against one another in the quiet passage. After matins, some orders allowed the monks to return to their beds for a few more hours. Others remained awake, entering a space of silent contemplation until the first light of dawn. This broken sleep, this gentle rhythm of rising and resting, created a state between waking and dreaming. It was said that in this space, one could hear the voice of God more clearly, that one could feel the sacred presence more deeply than in the rush of daytime. And though the beds were humble, the surroundings were peaceful. The thick stone walls muffled sound from outside. The inner cloisters held herb gardens, where the scent of lavender and sage drifted even through the windows at night. The air was cool and clean, and the silence was not empty, was full of intention. It was a living silence, a breathing quiet. For the monks' dreams were not always spoken of aloud, but they were not dismissed. Visions seen in the night, especially after prayer, might be recorded in quiet journals or contemplated in personal prayer. Sleep, like food, like work, like reading scripture, was seen as part of a life of balance. It was not indulgence. It was a gift to be received with humility. Some monasteries even scheduled moments during the day for brief resta. Midday nap called a meridiana, especially in warmer climates. Even in their strict discipline, they understood the needs of the body and gave it space to recover, as long as it did not lead to sloth. Now, imagine yourself there. The monastery is quiet. The last bell of Compline has rung. You are lying on a simple cot, wrapped in a heavy woolen blanket. A candle flickers in the corner, its flame small but steady. The scent of beeswax fills the room. Through a narrow window, the stars are visible clear and cold above the quiet cloister walls. There is no noise, no distraction, only breath, only stillness. You are safe, surrounded by walls that have held centuries of prayer and rest. Sleep comes not with urgency, but with grace. Let your mind slow to the rhythm of the sacred hours. Let the quiet weight of stone and sky press gently over you. The world is soft now. Time is folded like robes in a corner, and you may rest. In ancient Persia, long before modern borders were drawn, the night was a canvas for the senses. To sleep was not just to rest the body, was to enter a space between the real and the divine. A place where the soul might travel, where dreams carried messages, and the air itself seemed enchanted. And so, the Persians prepared for sleep not with haste, but with ceremony. Slow, sweet, and steeped in fragrance. Imagine now a quiet courtyard home in Persepolis or Isfahan, where the evening has begun to cool the clay walls. The sun has dipped behind the distant hills, casting golden shadows through finely carved wooden screens. Inside, the air is still warm from the day, but soft breezes wander in from the gardens, rustling the silk curtains and carrying with them the scents of rosewater, saffron, sandalwood, and jasmine. A Persian household would begin its nightly winding down with calm and comfort. The floors were lined with thick, hand-woven carpets, soft beneath bare feet. Cushions embroidered in gold and deep red were placed in quiet corners where one might recline with a book of poetry. The words of Rumi or Hafez might be read aloud in low, loving tones. These were not just bedtime stories, but lullabies for the spirit. Their rhythm, their beauty, opened the mind to something gentler than thought, something that floated near the edge of sleep. Before bed, the body was cared for with simple rituals of ease. A light meal was taken, perhaps stewed fruits with honeyed bread or a small bowl of lentils seasoned with mint and lemon. Heavy meals were avoided. The body, like the soul, was meant to be light before sleep. Then came the bath. Often, sleep was preceded by warm water, scented oils, and soft cloths. The body was anointed with fragrant mixtures: mond oil for the skin, rose oil behind the ears, a pinch of saffron on the wrists. These scents lingered through the night and into dreams. In some homes, dried herbs were burned gently before sleep, a tradition called Esfand Zaydin, meant to clear the space of evil thoughts or spirits. The air would fill with a smoky sweetness as the seeds of wild rue crackled softly over coals. It was believed to purify the room, to bring calmness and clarity, and perhaps even ward off nightmares. Then the room itself. Sleep did not come on wooden beds in these homes, but rather on thick cotton mattresses laid directly upon the carpeted floor. These beds were seasonal cool cotton in the heat, thick wool in the winter, and always layered with soft blankets. Pillows were plump and woven with care. Around the sleeping area, curtains of fine linen might be drawn not just for privacy, but to filter the breeze and soften the moonlight. The silence was never complete. Outside, the fountains continued to bubble quietly in the courtyard. Perhaps a bird called softly in the fig trees, or the sound of a flute floated faintly from a neighboring house. But all of it blended into peace like a song made of stillness. Even dreams were honored. In ancient Persian belief, dreams were not random flickers of thought, but messages, sometimes divine, sometimes prophetic. A good dream was considered a blessing. A troubling one might be shared with a wise elder, or written in a dream book to be pondered. Before sleep, it was not uncommon to pray or recite poetry, to ask for peaceful visions, for clarity, or even for answers. Now, close your eyes and imagine you're lying there, on a bed of warm cotton, under the gentle weight of embroidered blankets. A tiny clay lamp flickers nearby. The scent of rose and saffron still clings to your wrists. The air is soft, the night is kind. The world is at rest. And the stars above, Persia bright and ancient, watch over you in silence. Let yourself drift there, where fragrance carries you softly into dreams, and the worries of the waking world dissolve like sugar in warm tea. Long before cities were built and clocks began to tick, sleep was something that came naturally. When the sky darkened and the earth whispered, it was time to rest. Among the many indigenous peoples of North America, with their own languages, landscapes, and lifeways, sleep was seen not just as rest, but as a return to the earth's gentle embrace. In the traditions of many Native American tribes, the act of sleeping was quietly spiritual, rooted in a deep connection with nature, ancestors, and dreams that carried meaning. Close your eyes now and imagine a wide plain under a sky filled with stars so bright they seem close enough to touch. The air is cool and clean. A soft wind moves through tall grasses and brushes gently against the hide of a buffalo skin lodge or the bark walls of a longhouse. Inside, there is a quiet the murmur of low voices, the soft breathing of a sleeping child, the fading crackle of a fire burned low. This is not just shelter, it is sacred space. The home, whether a tipi, wigwam, or adobe dwelling, was built with care and intention, each material chosen with respect for the land. In these homes, the floor was often the earth itself, softened with layers of woven mats, hides, or pine needles. There were no beds raised high off the ground, only the comforting closeness of the soil, which was believed to hold memory, life, and healing. To sleep close to the earth was to remain in touch with its energy. People nestled under furs or woolen blankets dyed with natural pigments, soft reds, OKRs, and blues. Children were wrapped and held, sometimes cradled in softly carved wooden boards that kept them warm and safe. Before sleep, many tribes honored the night with quiet rituals. A story might be told slow and rhythmic, passed down from elder to child, not just for entertainment, but to teach, to soothe, and to link each listener to something older and wiser. These stories carried the voices of the wind, the animals, the stars. Some were myths, others memories, all woven gently into the fabric of rest. The voice telling the story would speak in a slow, melodic tone, letting each word fall like a stone into still water. Over time, the story would become a lullaby, and the listener would begin to drift. Smoke played an important role in bedtime preparations too. Sage, cedar, or sweetgrass might be burned in small bundles up. Practice known today as smudging to cleanse the space, protect the sleepers, and bring balance to the spirit. The aroma was soft and earthy, and it filled the sleeping area with a sense of calm. For some, a prayer would be offered. Not loudly, but within words of thanks to the Creator, to the ancestors, to the four directions, and to the night itself. Dreams, too, held deep meaning. They were messages, sometimes from loved ones who had passed on, other times from animal spirits or future events. Children might sleep under a dream catcher. A woven circle hung above the resting place to filter dreams, letting only the good ones through. Elders often remembered dreams with great care, sharing them in the morning like gifts or signs. Sleep was not a blank silence. It was a time when the spirit wandered gently, learning in ways the waking mind could not. There was never a rush to fall asleep. People moved slowly in the dark, whispering, sitting near the fire, or stepping out to look at the stars. And when sleep came, it was deep and clean, carried on the cool night air and the song of crickets, owls, or the distant howl of a wolf. Let yourself feel that closeness, now the sense of being part of something greater, held not by walls, but by the arms of the earth itself. You are lying on a soft bed of hides, wrapped in warmth, and the wind outside speaks to you like an old friend. You are not alone. The stars are watching. The ancestors are near. You are safe in this world of breath and soil and silence. Breathe in, gently, and breathe out. Let the spirit of the land carry you deeper into rest, as soft as pine needles, as timeless as the stones. Imagine yourself stepping softly into an ancient Chinese courtyard garden, perhaps during the Han Dynasty, where the air is fragrant with blooming plum and magnolia blossoms, and the gentle murmur of a bamboo water fountain fills the quiet space. The setting sun casts long golden shadows over the carved stone pathways, and delicate paper lanterns begin to glow faintly in the twilight. This garden is a place of harmony and balance, reflection of the Chinese philosophy that extends even into the way people rest and prepare for sleep. In ancient China, sleep was more than just closing the eyes at night. It was a practice deeply intertwined with the principles of yin and yang, the balance of opposing forces and the flow of ki, or life energy. People believed that a peaceful sleep depended on keeping these forces in harmony within the body and the environment. It was thought that a disturbance in this balance could lead to restlessness, nightmares, or illness. The bedroom was arranged thoughtfully, with care taken to promote this balance. Beds were often low to the ground, sometimes made from wood or lacquered bamboo, covered with fine silk sheets and quilts filled with cotton or down feathers. Pillows were crafted from fragrant herbs like mugwort or chrysanthemum, chosen not only for comfort, but for their calming and healing properties. These scents, subtle and soothing, drifted gently through the night air. Before sleep, a series of rituals might unfold. The body would be lightly massaged with oils infused with jasmine or sandalwood, warming the skin and relaxing the muscles. People practiced gentle breathing exercises or qigong movements, slow, flowing motions designed to align the body's energy and ease the mind. This slow dance of breath and movement quieted the chatter of the day, inviting the spirit to rest. The room itself was kept simple and serene, with natural materials like wood and paper, creating a soft, breathable environment. Windows and doors were positioned to allow the gentle breeze to circulate freely, but never too forcefully. The moonlight was welcomed, but softened by delicate silk curtains. Even the color palette was chosen for calmness, muted blues, soft greens, and earthy tones that encouraged relaxation. An important part of the sleep ritual was tea, not for caffeine, but for herbs like chamomile, lotus, or jujube, brewed into a warm, fragrant drink taken shortly before bed. This tea helped calm the heart and mind, washing away the stress of the day like a gentle river smoothing stones in its path. Dreams in ancient China were regarded as windows to the soul, and often recorded and pondered upon. Some kept dream journals, using brushes and ink to sketch symbols or write poetic verses that reflected the images visited in sleep. It was believed that understanding these dreams could bring insight and guidance. As you settle into this peaceful courtyard, feel the softness of the silk beneath you and the cool whisper of the evening air brushing your cheek. The scent of jasmine mingles with the faint sound of water trickling over stones. Your breath flows easily, slow and steady, syncing with the quiet rhythm of the night. The balance of yin and yang hums gently in your body, guiding you toward a sleep that is calm, deep, and healing. Let yourself float here, on the still waters of night, carried by the tender breath of ancient wisdom. Rest now, as the garden fades into moonlight and dreams bloom softly all around you. As the night deepens and your breath slows, we find ourselves far to the north, where ancient forests whisper secrets beneath the vast sky. Imagine the soft glow of twilight that lingers long after the sun has dipped below the horizon, painting the world with hues of pale pink and silver blue. This is the land of the Vikings, the Sami, and the long winters touched by the gentle glow of the midnight sun. In these northern realms, sleep was a quiet ceremony shaped by nature's rhythms, subtle yet powerful. The long summer days brought endless light, while winter wrapped the land in darkness that seemed to stretch forever. These extremes shaped the ways people rested and the customs they created to invite peaceful sleep in such shifting worlds. Homes were warm and cozy, built with thick timber walls and covered in moss and earth. Inside, fires burned low and steady, casting dancing shadows on wooden beams and woven rugs. Beds were carved from sturdy wood and piled high with reindeer skins, soft and thick, like clouds. Blankets were woven from sheep's wool, dyed in muted earth tones, comforting against the cold that seeped in with the long nights. Before sleep, families gathered quietly around the hearth, speaking in hushed tones, telling stories passed down through generations, tales of heroes and nature spirits, of stars that guided lost travelers and animals that watched over the forests. These stories were spoken slowly, with pauses to listen to the crackling fire and the wind outside. Their gentle cadence lulled listeners, weaving calmness and safety around every heart. Many believed that the natural world protected the sleeper. To honor this, a small bundle of dried herbs such as juniper or birch might be placed near the bed, filling the air with fresh, woody scents that cleared the mind and eased worries. Some people would leave a small bowl of water by the bedside, symbolizing purity and reflection, inviting dreams to flow gently like a still lake. Because the sun barely set during summer, special care was taken to create darkness indoors. Thick curtains made of heavy wool or layered hides helped dim the room, allowing eyes to rest even when the world outside was bright. People learned to honor the body's need for rest, tuning their sleep schedules to the quiet whispers of their own rhythms, rather than the endless light. In the deepest cold of winter, when the night stretched endlessly, sleep was also a time of reflection and connection. The long darkness was seen as a space to dream, to listen inwardly, and to prepare the spirit for the return of light. Some would place small wooden carvings or symbols of protection near their beds, quiet guardians against nightmares or restless nights. Now, as you lie here, feel the softness of those thick skins, the gentle warmth of the fire's glow, and the fresh scent of juniper in the air. Imagine the pale, endless twilight cradling you, a calm hush settling over the world like a soft blanket. Your body is heavy, sinking into rest, your mind peaceful and clear. Breathe in slowly and breathe out. Let the quiet stillness of the northern night carry you gently away. There is nothing to do now but drift, weightless and calm, into the soft embrace of sleep. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey through the ancient sleep rituals of the world. May your dreams be kind, your rest deep, and your morning bright. Good night and sleep well.